Walter White, the central figure of the acclaimed series Breaking Bad, transforms from a mild-mannered high school chemistry teacher into a notorious drug kingpin. Initially motivated by a terminal cancer diagnosis and the desire to provide for his family, Walter's journey into the methamphetamine trade reveals a darker, more ruthless side. Adopting the alias Heisenberg, he becomes embroiled in a web of crime, power struggles, and moral decay, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. The methamphetamine empire. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, his involvement in the large-scale production and distribution of methamphetamine would be at the forefront of the prosecution's case. As the mastermind behind an extensive drug empire, Walter manufactured and trafficked significant quantities of highly pure methamphetamine, which he sold across the southwestern United States and beyond. These activities would lead to numerous charges, including drug manufacturing, trafficking, and conspiracy. The sheer scale of his operations, combined with the high purity of his product, would likely result in severe penalties, including lengthy prison sentences and substantial fines. Walter's meticulous methods and the sophisticated network he established to distribute his product would serve as damning evidence of his central role in the drug trade. Money laundering. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, his extensive involvement in money laundering would be a significant aspect of the case against him. To conceal the vast profits generated from his methamphetamine empire, Walter employed various methods to launder money, including purchasing the car wash business, which he used as a front for cleaning illicit funds. He also engaged in cash-based transactions and created false financial records to disguise the origin of his wealth. These actions would lead to multiple charges of money laundering, a serious financial crime that involves disguising the proceeds of illegal activity as legitimate income. If convicted, Walter could face severe penalties, including long-term imprisonment and the forfeiture of assets acquired through his criminal enterprise, further compounding the legal ramifications of his drug-related offenses. Murder and assault. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, the charges of murder and assault would be among the most serious he would face. Throughout his rise as a drug kingpin, Walter was directly and indirectly responsible for numerous deaths and violent acts. Notable instances include the murder of rival drug dealers, the poisoning of Brock Cantillo to manipulate Jesse Pinkman, and the brutal elimination of Gus Fring using a homemade bomb. Additionally, Walter orchestrated the prison murders of multiple witnesses who could testify against him. Each of these actions would result in multiple charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and assault. The premeditated nature of many of these killings, coupled with the cold and calculating manner in which Walter executed them, would likely lead to severe legal consequences, including the possibility of life imprisonment or even the death penalty, reflecting the gravity of his violent and ruthless behavior. Child endangerment and family impact. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, the charges of child endangerment and the impact on his family would be significant elements of the case against him. Walter's descent into the criminal underworld exposed his wife, Skylar, and their children, Walter Jr. and Holly, to immense danger and psychological trauma. Instances of child endangerment include the time when his house was targeted by rival criminals, putting his family at risk, and when he kidnapped his own daughter, Holly, during a heated confrontation with Skylar. Furthermore, his actions led to an environment of fear and instability at home, causing severe emotional distress to his family members. These behaviors would result in charges of child endangerment and could be used to demonstrate Walter's reckless disregard for the safety and well-being of his loved ones. The profound negative impact on his family would not only compound his legal troubles, but also paint a damning picture of his moral descent and the far-reaching consequences of his criminal activities. Manufacturing explosives. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, his involvement in the manufacturing and use of explosives would be a crucial aspect of the prosecution's case. Walter's background in chemistry enabled him to create highly sophisticated and lethal explosive devices, which he used to eliminate threats and assert his dominance in the drug trade. Notable examples include the bomb he placed in Hector Salamanca's wheelchair to kill Gus Fring, and the rigging of his own car with an explosive to kill rival dealers. These actions would lead to charges of illegal manufacture, possession, and use of explosives, as well as charges related to terrorism and conspiracy. The premeditated and calculated nature of these bombings, combined with the potential for mass casualties, would result in severe legal consequences. If convicted, Walter could face lengthy prison sentences and additional charges for each incident involving the use of explosives, further illustrating the extent of his criminal ingenuity and the dangerous lengths he went to protect his empire. Fraud and identity theft. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, fraud and identity theft would be significant components of the case against him. Throughout his criminal career, Walter engaged in various forms of fraud to further his methamphetamine empire and evade law enforcement. He used false identities and aliases, such as his notorious moniker, Heisenberg, to conduct illicit activities without revealing his true identity. Walter also manipulated financial records, set up shell companies, and falsified documents to launder money and disguise the origins of his illegal earnings. Additionally, he committed identity theft by using others' personal information to secure supplies and equipment for his meth production. These actions would result in multiple charges of fraud and identity theft, each carrying substantial penalties including fines, restitution, and lengthy prison sentences. The sophisticated and deliberate nature of Walter's fraudulent schemes would underscore his willingness to exploit any means necessary to maintain and expand his criminal operations, further solidifying the severity of his legal transgressions. Witness intimidation and obstruction of justice. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, witness intimidation and obstruction of justice would be significant aspects of the case. Walter repeatedly took extreme measures to silence potential witnesses and obstruct legal processes, including orchestrating the prison murders of inmates who would testify against him and threatening individuals like Jess Pinkman to prevent their cooperation with authorities. His actions also involved tampering with evidence and manipulating others to destroy incriminating materials. These charges would result in severe penalties, highlighting Walter's ruthless tactics and his determination to evade law enforcement and protect his criminal empire at any cost. Environmental crimes. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, environmental violations would be a significant component of the case. Throughout his methamphetamine production, Walter consistently disregarded environmental regulations, improperly disposing of hazardous chemicals and toxic waste. These actions not only posed serious risks to the environment, but also endangered public health. If prosecuted, Walter could face charges for illegal disposal of hazardous materials and environmental contamination, resulting in substantial fines, cleanup costs, and additional prison time. These charges would underscore the widespread impact of his criminal activities, extending beyond drug manufacturing to include significant environmental harm. Tax evasion. If Walter White were charged for his crimes, tax evasion would be a critical aspect of the prosecution's case. Despite amassing significant wealth from his methamphetamine empire, Walter failed to report his illicit earnings to the IRS, thereby avoiding substantial tax liabilities. That's all for today's video. If you found this video of Walter White's potential legal consequences intriguing, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more future videos.